you've been writing about peak
Yes.
auto. Let's talk about that. What is peak auto?
What will the year be that has the greatest number of automobiles on the road globally? In other words, new cars coming online, old cars being kept in service. And so the real question becomes, when will automobiles start to decline in total number? And I think I was suggesting that it's going to be 2040-ish. Could be a few years earlier, could be a few years later. But peak oil and peak auto are closely intersected, of course, because the vast majority, I think 85% of all the cars that were sold in the last 12 months were ICE vehicles, internal combustion. So only 15% were EVs. So, peak auto is going to be when, first of all, EVs have substantially replaced ICE, which is going to start to happen by the 2030, 2035. But then 2030s is when driverless cars are going to come into play. And I think that growth is going to be like a hockey stick growth globally for the automotive industry in the 2030s. And the statistics around, and I know American statistics are a little better than global, but the American statistics are that the average American drives their car somewhere between 5 and 10% of the time. So if you think about that, right, the second biggest purchase that an American family makes after their home is their car, and they only use it 5 to 10% of the time. The rest of the time it's parked. So that's the one data point you need to know. The other data point is that the average American drives 39 miles in an average day. So that means that we drive 39 miles in 10% of the time. The 3-car family is going to start to go away once the climate consciousness kicks in, and the variability of energy and the storage of energy and the lower cost of use. So I think the 2030s we're going to accelerate. So somewhere around 2040 will be the end of peak, will be the highlight last year, after which the number of autos on the highway globally will go down.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because the number of autos and the relationship to the number of people, I think there's a pretty strong correlation there. But what you're suggesting is that there will be these fleets of driverless cars just available, constantly available for people, kind of like how New York City was back in the 90s, where there were just yellow taxis everywhere, and you never worried about getting a ride because there was, if you wanted it. And I'm wondering, like, in a place like Africa, and we know that Africa's population is going to increase pretty dramatically this century. I think it's probably going to double. And I wonder, we're seeing India and China and countries like these that have developed the number of cars going up and up and up. What about Africa? Do they just kind of leapfrog this personal ownership of cars to this fleet model? What are you thinking?
I think so. In Africa, I think there'll be probably be ICE cars to some degree, but they'll operate on a fleet basis because that's the mentality. So I think you're right that there will be a kind of a leapfrogging of technologies.